Okay, so tonight we are continuing the series on raising money, raising capital in 2025. Now, we've established the fact that raising capital is one of the most important skills for business owners, for investors, for anybody. And we are never taught to raise capital in school. So it's just a few privileged individuals, who read banking and finance or maybe corporate finance, or people who have had opportunities to work with venture capitalists that have some competencies in raising funds. But it's important that you raise funds because there are many people who are in the same spot where they are. They are not able to bring their dreams to fruition. Why? Because they cannot raise capital. If you cannot raise capital, you are going to limit, it's going to limit your progress. It's going to limit your progress in life, very, very strongly. And so today, we are going to be focusing on what my 85-year-old mentor told me that changed my life, that simplified everything about raising capital. Because whenever we think about raising capital, it feels like a very daunting task. And then because we've all tried at one point or the other to raise capital, to run our business or to invest. And then we have failed. And because of the rejection that we felt in the past, we think it's very difficult. But my 85-year-old mentor simplified it for me. And what he told me that changed the game for me when it came to raising capital was that if you have capital, you buy and sell. If you don't have capital, you sell and buy. This is so powerful. And then I'm going to be unpacking it tonight because it does not matter whether you have capital or you don't have capital. Your dreams, your vision, the things you want to do, the business you want to start, the education you want to fund, or whatever it is, the personal development you want to, the things you want to afford in order to move forward with your life, you can have them if you know how to raise capital. Because many of us are suffering from what I call capital barrier. We are being held back. Our dreams are dying every day because our dreams are being starved of capital. And some people's dreams follow them to the grave for the simple reason that the dream was starved of capital. Without capital, your dream is going nowhere. Somebody type it. Type it in the comment section. Type it in chat. Without capital, your dream is going nowhere. I really want to stress the importance of capital. Without capital, your dream is going nowhere. Everyone type it. Type it in the comment section. Without capital, your dream is going nowhere. Therefore, it is important to know how to raise capital because every dream has to be capitalized before it can come to fruition. Every business idea, every startup has to be capitalized before it can come to fruition. But we often dodge the issue of capital because we think it's very difficult to raise capital. And especially for some of us who have attempted to raise capital by going to the bank, and then it wasn't a very good experience, and we give up. Then we go around as victims mourning, oh, I don't have anyone to sponsor me. I hear that all the time. And people send me DMs across social media every day. Sir, I have this idea. I have a startup idea. I need $100,000 to make it happen. Another one says, oh, we started an agro processing company. And I want to tell you I want to tell you about it. Why are you telling me about it? And then this other one says, I have such and such an idea. I want sponsorship. And these are total strangers. So capital doesn't work like that. And it just shows me that many people have no idea about the nature of capital. Capital has its own university, type Capital University. You have gone to your regular university, but when you finish regular university, you've got to come to Capital University. And if you don't know how to raise capital, you will not be able to do much. You will not be able to do much with your life. Have you noticed that literally everything that matters has something to do with capital? Have you also noticed that the people who do the most good in the world are people who have capital? And on the corollary, is that people who do the most evil in the world are people who have capital. It's a billionaire that is troubling the whole world. He has money. He buys people, buys universities, he buys governments, he buys agencies, buys the World Health Organizations, buys everything because he has the capital, unfortunately. So capital is neither good nor bad. But capital assumes the character of the person who has it. Therefore, if you're a good person, like I'm inclined to believe since you're here, you have visions of creating wealth, and not only creating generational wealth for your family, but also for impact in your community, for impact in the society. Right now, I have just started a new line of business, and this new line of business is providing income for village women, very poor village women. And when I paid them yesterday, you could see the joy. They were dancing. These women, very hardworking women, they were dancing. Now, I'm able to put joy and pay them well because I have the capital to do that, to start that business. So you see, if I don't have the capital to start that business, number one, the farmers I bought the raw materials with will go back with their goods, it's going to spoil. Now, I will not also be able to engage these women, these local women that I'm using. And if I don't engage them, they don't get paid, they don't eat. Capital is important. Don't let the way that people have misused and misunderstood capital prevent you from breaking your own capital barrier. Without capital, your vision, your mission is going nowhere. Therefore, we got to learn how to raise capital, how to break the capital barrier. Now, the other thing I want to say unashamedly is that capital is power. I wish I didn't have to say that, but it really is. You are not more powerful than the capital, than the level of capital that you play with. The most powerful people in the world are powerful because they play with limitless capital. But you see, you now, you can't feed yourself. You can't pay transport money out of your house. How will you engage in big things? How will you also fight the people who are misusing capital? By showing them how to do it better. When you can't even feed yourself, when you can't even start a business. Some of you, you have invented something, you've come up with some fantastic business ideas that really, if you bring it to launch, it can change the world. It can do many things, but you can't do it. Why? Because you don't have the capital. We are going to change that. And now there's something King Solomon said, you know, if you followed me for a while, you would have been seeing some little bit of Solomon in my teachings. So Solomon said, wisdom is better than strength. All of us agree with that one. I totally agree with it. I'm a person of wisdom. I enjoy wisdom. I enjoy asking questions. I enjoy finding out the mysteries of the universe. I enjoy asking questions. And maybe literally 90% of my mentors are people in their 80s and 70s. My youngest mentor is 73 or thereabout. He turned 73 or so just last month. The other ones are in their 90s. And when I meet with these men, I see, now that I'm thinking about it, they're all men actually. I think I need an elderly woman. So when I sit with these men, with my journal, every word they say, I make notes. The last time I was with Elder Okoro, He's should be 92, 93 this year. I filled 7 pages of notes. When he is talking, I shut up. I just listen. So I love wisdom. We should all seek wisdom. But look at what the man of wisdom himself said. He said, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, those of you on Zoom, you are seeing it on the slide. But those of you who are watching on YouTube, you will see it, the slides. And those of you on TikTok and Facebook, you can always go back to the replay on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, do so tonight. Just type Ogbo Awoke Ogbo on YouTube. Ogbo is OGBO. Awoke is AWOKE. It will only take you to that one channel. Subscribe there, hit the notification bell, because everything we do, the replay is always there. So you can always go back there, make notes, interact with me. You can also ask me questions that you're not able to ask here. I read those comments on YouTube. So if you have not subscribed, take a moment and do so you can see the slides. Solomon said, wisdom is better than strength. But he didn't stop there. I wish he had stopped there. He said, nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. Do you see how powerful this thing is? You see, because we have to what's the word? We have to reconfigure our mindset about capital, about wealth. And people say money is the root of all evil. No, but that's not what he said. He said the love of money is the root of all evil. That's why you're having all the ritual killings, you're having all the cheatings, you're having all the fake products in town and things like, because people love money, and that's the root of evil. So they don't mind making adulterated products. People are selling palm oil that they added red dyes that are causing cancer in them because they want to make more money. People are injecting all kinds of substances into food stuff that they are giving people to give it a good look and also to make it appear bigger. The love of money is the root of evil. But it is not talking about, that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about the love of money. I am saying that every single person needs to desire to lift himself or herself up from where they are. Every single day, you should do something that grows your capital. Please type what I just said. Every single day, do something that grows your capital. Every single day, do something that grows your capital. Don't give yourself an excuse. Oh, I don't earn enough. Then earn enough. Don't tell yourself, oh, okay, I'm from a poor background, or I'm too old. I don't understand this digital marketing of a thing. I don't understand this cryptocurrency, this stock market investing of a thing. I'm too old for that. No, don't give yourself that excuse. Every day, do something that increases your capital. Everybody, type that in the comment section. Now, since this is a coaching session, I want to take the next 2 minutes, because this is really very practical. I want to take the next 2 minutes. I want all of you on TikTok, on Facebook, on Zoom, every one of you, everybody, take the next 2 minutes. I want each person to tell me one thing that you can do to increase your capital every single day. Everyone. Okay, I'm getting some people requesting to join on video on TikTok. I'm not sure. Okay, so just do the exercise first of all. Do the exercise first of all. What is one thing you can do to increase your capital every day? Every day. And I want all of us to look into the comment sections and see all the ideas that we are sharing. Every day, do one thing that increases your capital, even if it's by 0.01%, because by the time you compound 0.01 by 365 days, you will be shocked how your capital can grow. Every single day, do something that grows your capital. So give me some examples of what you can do to increase your capital. Everybody? Everybody? What can you do? Give your own examples of what you can do to increase your capital every single day. All right, so let me take a look. Okay. Som Tochukwu said, getting a data science role. Chinweze says, every day you can learn something new about finance and investing. Brilliant. That's it. You can learn something new. You see, finance is the language of wealth. Type that. Finance is the language of wealth. How do you plan to grow wealthy when you don't even understand simple things, simple finance terminologies? You don't know what bond is. You don't know what treasury bill is. You don't know what interest rate is. You don't know what inflation is, devaluation. You don't even know what these things represent. You don't know what a venture capitalist is. You don't know what business model is. You don't know all these things. You don't know what a bit that is. You don't know how to read financial statements. You don't know what bottom line is when you hear that. You don't know what cash flow is. You don't know what cash flow projection is. You don't know what it looks like. You don't even understand what budgeting is. How in the world are you going to grow wealthy? Your money cannot grow beyond your knowledge of finance. I'm saying a lot of things that are quotable tonight. Type that. Type that. That should be somebody's aha moment. Your money cannot grow bigger than your language of finance. Language is so important. So I like this suggestion here that every day you can learn something new about finance and investing. This will increase your knowledge capital. And of course, as you grow your mind, as you grow your brain, you grow your wealth. Because people think that the most important wealth building thing is actually cash. No, it's actually your mind. Your mind is the ultimate capital. Remember, when I told you yesterday, the Latin origin of the word capital actually refers to the head, capital. Your mind is the capital, is the primary capital. And if your mind is sound, it will produce the other capital. Now, how do you make your mind sound? Like he suggested, every day, learn something new about finance and investing, because your money cannot grow beyond your language of finance. The more you grow your language of finance, the more your wealth grows, because finance is the language of wealth. It just happens that way. All right. What else can you do to grow your money, to grow your capital every day? What other suggestions do we have? Okay, Helen says, Helen on Facebook says, buying and selling. Okay, and earn money daily in mutual fund. Okay. Damiete Batubo says, reducing, good. Reducing my daily spending and increasing my assets that will bring in cash flow. That's powerful. And then I'd like you to break those down into more simpler steps. So I like what you said. You can grow your capital in two ways: by controlling your expenses, because some of us live very indisciplined life when it comes to expenses. We enter a supermarket, we never go with a list. How can you enter a supermarket, massive supermarket? You don't have a list. Is anybody here guilty of that? You didn't prepare a shopping list before. You just enter a supermarket because, of course, you have your debit card or your credit card. Then you start walking the mall, spending 2 hours there. By the time you finish there, 200 and something thousand that you didn't plan has left your whatever, only for you to get home, you start having buyer's remorse because you bought gadgets and things that you don't know, that you don't have space in your house to put. Has it happened to anybody? So do something every day that increases your capital. So it could be controlling your expenses, budgeting, daily saving, not because of the amount, but because of the discipline that it instills in you. Okay, so make sure that you are doing something. Yes, Chinweze said, cut down unnecessary expenses. So Damieta, thank you very much. That's a beautiful, beautiful idea. Okay. Ziwa says, I will invest in MMF to increase my capital. All right. Mene says, involve in surveys. Okay. Now, what I have just, Victoria also says, I will reduce my spending to increase my capital every day. Okay. So the other thing is, you don't only grow capital by reducing, but you also grow your capital by exploring more opportunities to increase your earning. Yeah, because reducing is good, but reducing alone is not a very strong force to increase capital. So you reduce, but you also look for opportunities to earn daily income, which we'll be talking about during the financial fitness challenge. Excellent. Okay, so let's go back to our presentation. So wisdom is better than strength, Solomon says. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised and his words are not heard. So I want you to become a woman, a man of capital. I'm using words I've not heard before. That's amazing. Become a woman of capital. All right. Can you claim that for yourself? Like we say in this part of the world, I am a woman of capital, or I'm a man of capital. So I want you to start thinking, you know, I want that label, that title to begin to change your mindset. I want you to develop a totally different attitude toward capital, an attitude not of fear, because many of us, when I ask us, describe the emotion that comes to you whenever you think about capital. Actually, let's do that exercise again. That's another coaching exercise. All right. Whenever you think about the word capital, what emotion? Don't think too much about it. Just say what comes to your heart. What kind of emotion does that word capital arouse? Everybody, Zoom, TikTok, Facebook. Okay. Yes, Dolly, Pizel on TikTok captured Capital University. Very good. Okay, Capital University. Very good. So everyone tell me, when you hear the word capital or cash flow or money, what emotion comes to you? Everybody? All right, people on Facebook are asking for the Zoom link. Please save the Zoom link. Once I give it to you, copy it and then save it, because it's the same link that we will be using every time. So if you save it, you can always have it. So just give me a second to do that. Okay, so everybody tell me, when you think about money or capital, what emotion does that evoke? All right, okay. So right now, you have the Zoom link on Facebook. I would encourage you to please save it. It's the same Zoom link because we keep sharing it every day. It's the same Zoom link that we'll be using. So save it. All right. So let me see. Som Tochukwu says, when you think about capital, you think about love. Okay. Then Chinweze says, fear of it dissipating. Absolutely. Okay. Fear of not maximizing it. Very true. Fear of not maximizing it. Does any other person feel scarcity? All right. When you think about capital, think about money. You just feel, oh, it's never enough. Oh, is very scarce, you know? So what kind of emotions? What kind of emotions? Okay. Innocent says fear of uphill task. So you see, for many of us, capital invokes fear. It invokes a feeling of not being enough. It invokes a feeling of inadequacy. Okay. But I want to change that. I want you to change that. So by declaring that you're a man or woman of capital, so every time that you think about capital, you should think about it with the attitude of confidence, okay? With the attitude of collaboration, companionship, that capital, you and capital are working hand in hand, that you are co-travelers, you are co-laborers in your journey. Think about your relationship with capital as a relationship with friend, not a relationship with enemy. Okay, so don't make your capital enemy, because if you make it enemy, before you know it, you start praying for fire, for the thing to fall and die. Okay, but make capital your friend. Okay. Many says, I have a feeling of exploring and seeking more opportunities when I hear the word capital, money, or cash flow. Fantastic. I like that attitude. That's what it should be. Okay. So now, how do you break the capital barrier? Remember, today we're focusing on what my 85-year-old mentor taught me. That was a couple of years ago after I left Shell, and I was struggling to get my business going because I was experiencing difficulty with getting capital. I couldn't find a place to rent because rent was so expensive in Lagos. I couldn't, at some point, I didn't even have computer. I couldn't buy my computer. The computer I was using was so pathetic, so bad. I couldn't afford one at the time. So I went to him and he said, okay, listen. He said, Obo, listen, that if you want to start a business or anything, he said, if you have capital, buy and sell. If you do not have capital, sell and buy. If you have capital, buy and sell. If you don't have capital, sell and buy. Why is this genius? And why did this have such incredible impact on me? Why was this like what helped me to come out of the capital curse, breaking the barrier, my capital barrier? Because if you look at what my mentor told me very, very well, you will discover that it is not about capital. That's exactly the point here. Because he said, you can do it regardless of capital. So if you have capital, you can buy inventory, you can rent office space, you can employ people, you can even afford to get a consultant to get started. You can buy inventory from China or from a big supplier because you have the capital. So you buy and sell. So you buy all your inventory, you employ people, you put all the factors of production together, and then you create value and take it to the marketplace, and the market will buy. Now he says, if you don't have capital, then switch it. Instead of buy and sell, you now sell and buy. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no more excuse. There's no excuse like lack of capital. You sell and buy. How do you sell and buy? So let me give you what I did after he told me that. So I didn't have capital to start. When I started to get an office, like I've said, to get computers, how much more to even employ someone to work for me and all that. So, but I had the skill, I had the product, I had the service that I could render to organizations. I had facilitation skills, because that's another thing. You may not have capital in terms of money, but you have skills, you have expertise, you have things around you that can be monetized. So many times when people want to start a business or start something, they're always looking for the physical cash. Oh, I'm looking for $100,000. oh, if only I can get $25,000 right now, I'll become a millionaire. And then some come to me and say, sir, I'm a very, very excellent trader. If you give me $10,000 to trade now, that within 1 month, that is going to turn it to $30,000 for me. So people always, so you don't have, but you don't have $10,000, but you do have skills, you do have expertise. So ultimately, I now packaged a team building event, a team building service for organizations. And I was now going to sell it. So I was going around selling it. I approached different companies and I was telling the management team, hey, I can lead your retreats. I can facilitate your team building. And then I could use the team building as a vehicle for learning intervention in your organization. Okay. I could use that for intervention to help your organization. So company one said no, company two said no, a couple of months, I didn't get anybody. But then eventually I now sold it to one company. And that company was MultiChoice. And at that time, they paid me an equivalent of $15,000. So that was good enough for sell and buy. So I didn't have the $15,000 to start, but I did that event and I got the $15 because I sold it. And then I now got the capital. So you see, if you don't have capital, if you sell and buy, the same thing happens. The principle is you may not have your own house. You want to get into real estate business. You don't have your own land. You don't have landed property. You don't have house. You don't have residential buildings to sell or anything. Now, but there are other people who have houses. There are people who have land to sell. But you are the one with the selling skills. You are the one that can go around connecting the seller with the buyer. So you see, you don't have capital, but you can connect the seller and the buyer. So I go to the seller and he says, I'm selling this house for 80 million. And then you say, okay, I will sell it for you. And we come to an agreement that you're going to give me 5%. And I'm going to find a buyer. And then we have something documented, notarized, that you're going to pay me 5% of that. And then I say to the person, anything else I put on top of it is going to be in the agreement is mine because you're willing to sell 80. Now, if I go and because I'm very good at selling and I sell it for 100, the person pays me, pays the 100 million and I get 25 million. So you see how I sold and bought. There are many other ways you can implement this thing. So I know people who go to the Alaba International Market, the electronics store, and they go there and take pictures of the products that people brought in from Germany, from Europe. Then they go to Gigi, or they go to Seller, or they come to Facebook or go to Instagram, and then they advertise. Oh, I have this so blender. I have this so whatever. It's fantastic. It's this and that and that and that. I can buy. Now, the guy in Alaba is selling for 150,000. But on my Gigi, I'm selling for 300. And so I buy, somebody now buys from my Gigi page or buys from my Instagram page for 300,000. What do? I pay this other person 150 and then have her ship to the person. So you see how I sold and bought. This is so revolutionary that I'm actually thinking that people should have been given some fire emoji, that something is something very powerful, is being delivered to you, in this way. I really was expecting to see serious fire emojis. So there's no longer any excuse for when it comes to capital. So it turns out that the only thing that is stopping you is your lack of creativity and then your lack of fear. That's the only thing that is stopping you. But if you don't have capital, you sell and buy. If you have capital, you buy and sell. Is anybody feeling excited? Did you get some value tonight? All right, so it's the time of the day for your aha moments. Type your aha moments. Every single person, type your aha moments. It allows me to know how to serve you much better. And then it also allows other people to learn what you have also learned. Okay, so what are your aha moments? And then if there is one or two questions, I can take that tonight. Your aha moments, everyone. Okay, all the world's wealthy men know how to sell. Absolutely. Fantastic. Uhebu, very, very correct. Very, very strong quote. All these other people, Elon Musk is a salesman. Warren Buffett is a salesman. Bill Gates is more of a salesman than a computer person. So very, very true. So selling is your key to breaking your capital barrier. You can sell yourself out of poverty. Somebody type that. You can sell yourself out of poverty today. And it doesn't have to take 10 years. It just depends on when you choose to do it. If you choose to do it this week, it will happen this week. If you choose to do it in the next 30 days, it can happen this, but you can sell yourself out of generational poverty. Okay. All right. My aha moment is that I have to build a good relationship with me and see money as my friend. Very good. Okay. Ziwa says, my knowledge is my capital. Okay. Emmanuel says, thank you, sir. Thanks to you, I have reactivated my stock account and invested heavily back again. Fantastic. I wish I joined your daily life earlier. It's not late, don't worry. Your success will compound. Oliver says you can sell yourself out of poverty. Very true. Sam Ade says, I will invest in stocks, bonds, as little as maybe, and to get new knowledge about constant income. Fantastic. Yes, you do that. Okay, Amos also says you can sell yourself out of poverty. Absolutely. And Oscar says, what about physical products? I'm not sure. The question is not complete. You can make yourself more clear. But of course, physical products, you can. I explained that actually because you can go to someone, to a warehouse or to a distributor who has physical products and then basically have an arrangement, with them to move the market, and then you take the commission. And it's sort of what people in affiliate marketing, that's the same concept. You don't have to be the owner of the product or the service. You sell it, get your commission and get your cut. That is how you sell and buy. So affiliate marketing is one way you sell and buy, a very good way at that. And people actually are making more money in affiliate marketing than the people who actually own the products. All right. So Tochiku says, my aha moment is that your finance can't be bigger than your financial language. Very true. Financial language. All right. Uhebu says again, I have to have confidence around money that attracts money to me. Absolutely. Okay. A few more aha moments. Friday says, my aha is that I can sell myself out of poverty. Very good. Damiette says, my aha moment, you go nowhere without capital, and how to raise capital to actualize your dream. Absolutely. Priska, my darling sister, says, my aha moment is finance is the language of wealth. Very good. Helen says, capital is from the brain. Okay. Many says, I'm so excited. Yep, my aha moment is I am the capital. Fantastic. Fantastic. Very true. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we're going to draw the curtain for tonight. Please save the Zoom link. It's exactly the same Zoom link and exactly the same time. Tomorrow, we will continue to talk about raising capital. This issue of capital, I want every one of us to be heavily capitalized, even in a challenging situation, like in a challenging economy. Maybe that's what we should speak about tomorrow. How do we capitalize in a very weak or very difficult economy? Yeah, I think that's a very good one tomorrow. All right. So whatever happens, ladies and gentlemen, keep showing up because you have no idea what's coming your way next. See you same time, same place tomorrow. And God bless you.